Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are Too Complex. We got some real spicy topics for y'all today, some good entertainment for y'all today. But before we get into that, just make sure you guys like the video, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers that we drop every single week, man. So D-Lo back with another week, bro. We back, my G. What's good with you this week, man?
What's up, my boy? What's up?
Chilling, my boy.
Everything's good this week, man. Everything's good this week. You know, same old. Spending time with the family. Turned into a big softy, though. I've come to that realization.
Okay, explain that to me, bro.
Yeah, so last week my sister-in-law graduated, and we were at the graduation, and I found myself tearing up a bit.
Okay,
you know, in the past, stuff like that, those type of events. Those type of moments didn't really affect me. I rarely cried at funerals, but all that's starting to change. My emotions are starting to really come out. And I really wasn't crying at the fact that my sister-in-law was graduating. I mean, we have a good relationship, but we're not exactly close like that. So wasn't crying for that portion. I was more so crying at the happiness that parents or loved ones were showing to their loved ones that were graduating, you know, showing their pride and whatnot. Those type of things draw a lot of emotion out of me. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, like, I tear up or I get a little emotional at seeing stuff like that. So turning into a big softy, man, when it comes to those type of moments. But you know, a very good time spending with my wife's side of the family. Also got a chance to spend some time with my family as well, my mom, my sister, and my niece. And then, you know, today just came back not too long ago from spending some time in the city with the family, enjoying some of the festivities that are going on around our town.
That Taste of Charlotte, man. I was hoping it was next weekend, man, so I could have enjoyed it with y'all or whatever. But you know, we'll get into. We ain't gonna get too much into that. Don't worry. But just to kind of reiterate on what you said, man. Don't you know what I'm saying? I'm a big softy, bro. Some stuff get me emotional, even though I seem real goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing don't bother me. But bro, I promise you, whenever Sam hit that stage when she graduated, bro.
Yeah.
Ugly cry,
man. I don't know.
Ugly cry, bro. I'm gonna be balling. I'm gonna tell you, it's my family. but nah, same old with me, man. You know, just making sure that I'm on the right track as far as my next avenue of my career. Spending time with Sam. Sam ain't with me this week because she just got a pet rabbit. This week, so she wanted to stay home and build a relationship with the rabbit or whatever. So it's kind of working her up to asking me for a dog, basically. So we're gonna see how that goes. That's that. We're gonna see how that goes. But she said, she said, "Daddy, if I take care of the rabbit and I can show you I can take care of the rabbit, can we get a dog?" I was like, "We'll see, baby."
That's reasonable, though. I mean, I can.
Not facts. You know,
If you can show me that you can take care of that, then we can talk about you taking care of a dog. Because the same thing's going on in my household. You know, my daughter wants a dog, but she barely takes care of anything in the house. So, you know, why would I get a dog for you when me and your mama are going to be the ones taking care of
the dog? Exactly. And that's why I told Sam too. I was like,
her brother and then the dog. Nah, that's okay.
And that's what I told Sam.
My bad. I'm sorry.
You good. No, you good. That's what I told Sam too. I was like, look, like if the dog gonna be at my house and you only really here for, you know, the weekends, then I'm gonna be taking care of this dog. So who go take care of the dog? And the crazy thing is I'm here by myself. So the dog wouldn't be a bad idea for me to get anyway. So I could have something around me because I'm here alone in Washington, you know. But you know, it's gonna be for her, but I'm gonna end up taking care of it anyway. But I said, we'll see. If you take care of the rabbit, we'll talk about it. But yeah, so I mean everything's on the up and up, man, you know, and taking this a lot more seriously for sure. And not that I wasn't taking it seriously before, but you know, just making sure that I'm putting my time in the right places. You feel me? So that's kind of how my week is going, man. That's kind of how my week went.
Bet, man. Right into it. Let's talk about these aliens that was seen in Las Vegas. What's going on with that,
man? So there's been a lot of conspiracies going around throughout for decades that aliens exist. So now apparently out in Las Vegas, man, a police officer caught a glimpse of what he thought was a UFO on his body cam.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw it, it was a big figure in the sky, and it fell out the sky on his body cam. And then an hour later, a couple makes a 911 call saying it's some strange looking 8 foot tall or more figures in their backyard that's freaking them out. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I mean, I'm of the belief that extraterrestrial creatures or beings exist. Me personally, I believe that there is other life forms other than us that walk this planet or to walk this world or this universe, so to speak. And not to mention, it makes sense for them to try to come here since we're trying to invade space and try to figure out what planets are cohabitable up there. Sam I was telling you about this earlier today. Sam got a project right now in her biology class where they're trying to figure out which planet is cohabitable and how you would cohabit that planet.
Okay.
She tried to ask me for advice. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there's some planet up there that we could do something to actually walk on that planet and live on that planet for who knows? I don't know. Elon Musk trying to do it on Mars right now, so who knows?
Exactly.
Right. Elon Musk trying to do it on Mars right now. Everyone says Mars, and that's the one that she chose too. You know what I'm saying? So her and her partner doing that. But I mean, what you think about these aliens, bro? What you think extraterrestrial beings exist?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, how can we think that we are the only intelligent life forms in this galaxy when
for sure
there has been multiple, as of lately anyway, there has been multiple discoveries of comparable planets in other galaxies or other universes. Which I forget. I always get confused with those terms. But
galaxies is more so used still. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've seen other comparable Earth forms in other galaxies. So how can we think that we're the only ones here in this whole universe to exist? I absolutely believe that there are other life forms, intelligent life forms, way more advanced than us that's out there.
For sure.
As far as what happened in Las Vegas, I don't know how I would have acted had I locked eyes with a 10-foot alien. I'm terrified of snakes, so I'd probably poop my pants 100% had I seen a daggone alien 10 feet tall in my yard. I mean, it's just crazy.
I would have reacted the same way as you said. I probably wouldn't even have been able to call 911. I would have been sitting there stuck, froze, looking through my patio window, like, what am I looking at right now? Like, it's so crazy for somebody to actually come in contact. And we've already heard stories in the past about people thinking they've been abducted by, spaceships and, being on the mothership and stuff like that, which, who knows? It's conspiracy theories and people could have, experienced something like that. But to lock eyes in real life with a motherfucker that don't sound like a dream, like, which it could, I don't know. I mean, I've never personally seen an alien. But if I was to, and somebody tell me, take me to your leader, I'm taking you straight to Biden and let you see this nigga. This is the person that's running us. So can you do better?
Oh, wow.
Can you run this motherfucker better? Because this nigga steady tripping over himself and looking crazy out there. So like, what you gonna do? Like, but I think it's real. But you got a point though. It's got to be other intelligent life forms out there for sure.
100%. I mean, but the thing is, like, for what happened April, because this happened April 21st April 21st of this year, and the report just came out last week. But what happened on that night, it wasn't just in Las Vegas that people said they saw that little beam coming falling from the sky. It was
seen in California too,
in California as well. So it has to be some type of validity to whatever that police officer was able to record on his body cam. Now, as far as what happened in that person's yard, I mean, we've had these little hoax happen before, right? So, there's always been there's been hoax that have gone on. So we believe, we don't know it to be true, so we're going to say it's a hoax that have gone on where it sounds believable, but we have no actual evidence that it happened. Now, this body cam can further validate what happened, what these people said happened, but actually having the hardcore evidence or a picture of something of because when you look at it, and I'm drawing this out a little bit, but when you actually look at the newscast, the people seem like really calm and, willing to tell their story. If they were that calm, you would have think somebody would have gotten a picture or something, right? To prove that they actually seen an alien or a 10-foot tall being in their yard. However, we don't have that. So it
is kind of weird. It is hearsay.
The video from the body cam.
And in the world of social media today, you would have thought that somebody would be like, "Oh, I gotta get this type." That's
right.
In the world of virality, that would have been viral.
100%.
That would have been viral immediately, nigga. You saw an alien for real? Like people would have been sharing, commenting, posting, reposting, retweeting. Like subtweeting everything. It would have been viral in an instant. That's the way we think. But like I said, we would have been stuck. I'd have been like, what was stuck? Right. 100%. Unwilling. I'm probably shitting on myself without thinking I'm doing it. Just like, oh, what the hell is going on? I'd have been scared. What stuff? Real big stuff.
To go back to, do I believe that there's extraterrestrials? Like I said, I absolutely believe it. But if you do a quick Google search of UFOs, governments, XYZ, you'll easily find that our government, I'll just stick with our government, has been amping up their search of UFOs. You've had multiple pilots, and they're forming a new union for pilots that have spotted unidentified flying objects. And so, I definitely believe like there is some validity in what people have said they saw. I just don't want to be a Russell Cass. For y'all that don't know who Russell Cass is, that's the crazy pilot from Independence Day, the one that had the tinfoil on his head and all that. I don't think I could be a Russell Cass, but I definitely believe like there's flying objects. This is a crazy story, especially with the body cam and multiple states saying that they saw the same thing fall from the sky, and then you have an individual within an hour of the person of the body cam saying, yeah, we just had a crazy sound in our yard. A shockwave hit us, and then I turn around and I see a 10-foot tall, big-eyed being staring at me. So it's like, hey.
I listened to that 911 call. I was like, yo, I don't even think I'll be able to talk right now. I'd be like, you got to see bleep head ass nigga. Like, I'd have been fucked up. I'd have been so messed up. But but moving on from the aliens, man. So we go from Al Pacino and Robert De Niro at 80, 82, and 79 years old, getting young women pregnant, about to have babies, to now Bill Murray being in his 70s, I think 77 if I'm not mistaken, and Kelis reportedly dating. Like, what is the world coming to, D-Lo? What's going on with this, dog?
Old white dudes out here still winning, huh?
They winning, bro.
They winning. I mean,
I'm single out here and they got these
you know what I'm saying? Like the old white dudes is getting it in.
What old boy say? What Franklin say on Snowfall? A black chocolate nigga like me can't keep it.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? But go ahead. I ain't gonna cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you good. So I mean, like these dudes must be eating right. They must be like exercising regularly and making sure they taking their supplements on a regular basis. Because I mean, like you said, it's been the last month we've discussed some elderly man either having babies with significantly younger women or now dating a significantly younger woman. And the thing about this situation is Kelis is tough. And Kelis is tough. No offense to Bill Murray, but like what is it that she sees in Bill Murray other than what we always say about these situations? His status, which I mean, Bill Murray is a figure, a popular figure in comedic culture in film. He has, I assume he has, I didn't look up his net worth. I didn't want to go there, but I'm assuming he has a good little nest egg.
A pretty penny. A pretty penny.
He's well known. He has a good status. Other than that, what do you see, and what do you and Bill Murray have in common?
You
know what I mean? This is the most I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just so surprising to me.
It's one of the most awkward. It's definitely one of the most awkward couples. If this is true, as of right now, it's a rumor. Neither one of them have confirmed or denied whether or not they are dating or not. But this has got to be one of the most awkward couples that I've seen in a while. Because Kelis is a beautiful young woman. Well, she ain't young. She's older than us. Which, I mean, young is relative. So she's a beautiful young lady. And Bill Murray is Bill Murray. I'm just leaving it at that. But it's one of these things where it's like, yo, what's going on? Because I hope I have. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm gonna stop saying what I was going to say. So,
let it out.
I hope I still have that kind of charisma at 77.
Yeah,
at 77 years old, I hope I still have that kind of charisma. Because 77, Bill Murray, Robert De Niro 79, Al Pacino 82. I hope I still got that same riz at that age, bro. Getting it in, not for nothing. All of these women that they were supposedly having these babies with are beautiful women.
Right.
So what is it that they doing that apparently I'm not? Apparently, it's like, what's going on, bro? They doing something right. They got to be taking their supplements, working out every day, and you know, throwing money. Apparently, I don't got, but you know. Yeah, we shall see.
I mean, and not to say anything negative about the women that are choosing these men, but we do know, and not to generalize as well, but we do know that. Well, I shouldn't say just women. Humans in general love status. And so that's the only thing I can say in these situations that we've talked about the last 3 weeks with these elderly men is that they have this status, and it's why it's reported, because I truly don't see myself or you or anybody like us with all this with all the swag that we have.
You can say it
as we get older, pulling anybody significantly younger than us. And we do know that most women love older men, but I don't know if they love men that much older than them, right? And to flip it, had it been just you and I, again, in the status that we currently have, trying to get with a woman significantly older than us, we would be looked at as old perverts. But because these dudes have the status and what they are, and these relationships seem to work, it's not seen that way.
It's brushed over for sure.
It's brushed over 100%. So my question is, in this situation, particularly with Kelis and Bill Murray, if it is true, like you said, who approached who first? Because if she approached him, then it's like, okay, I don't see what she sees in him, but all right. But if he approached her, is he a pervert?
Is it? I think it's got to be more so
in all of the situations, right, that we've discussed.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's got to, because not for nothing, Kelis's status is kind of, I would say, is close to Bill Murray, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not too far off. If Bill Murray is a little bit above her, he ain't too far. You know what I'm saying? Kelis has had some hit songs. She's got a pretty dope YouTube channel that she's got out on her farm and her natural the natural things that she does and stuff like that. So she has a pretty good following and she has a pretty good status. So she's not too far below what Bill Murray is. But to answer your question, what I think happened with them is that they have to run in the same circles. And it just had to be like, would they keep seeing each other in the same areas or the same people or stuff like that? It has to be, because I don't see any world where Kelis would approach Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I also don't really see Bill Murray. I don't know. Maybe he got that kind of, swag about him that he was like, shit, I'm about to go holler at Kelis. Fuck it. Yeah. I mean, that's how it had to happen. But I would assume that this is just my assumption. I assume that they just kind of run in the same circles and they keep seeing each other around and they keep having a good time and it just kind of happened to fit. That's what I assume. But that's just me, though. I don't know. But I still don't understand it. But hey, it is what it is, bro. Get it how you live, player.
100%. I guess Kelis is just trying to get some type of retribution for not winning the case with Beyonce from quote unquote stealing her money. But
I guess
that's for the Beehive.
That's for the Beehive. Let them deal with that.
Yeah, let them deal with that. Man, Sticks, Azealia Banks.
Oh
Is
my
she that
God.
petty, bro?
She
Is
got
she
to
that
be
petty?
queen
Why can't
petty.
she let go of the past?
Man, Azealia Banks, dog. She's got to be at this point queen petty. I don't know who's pettier between her and 50 Cent, because this
Man,
is
listen.
this is at an all-time high when it comes to the level of petty that she is, because she's had run-ins with multiple different people in this, multiple different celebrities in the entertainment world, in the entertainment space, from the Ti's wife, Tiny, to freaking Eminem, to Iggy Azalea, to so many people that she's had these run-ins with, bro. Producers and producers, what's the word I'm looking for? Management teams and stuff like that. Like she's had, she does not know how to keep her mouth closed, and she is a person that 100% wears her heart on her sleeve, and she will let everybody know, and the person that she has a beef with, let them know how she feel 100%, even if it's of the stupidest of things, right? And what I mean by stupid is this beef between her and DC Young Fly stems from her agreeing to go on Wild 'N Out, that she knows is an improv sketch comedy show. And she knows, if she's ever watched the show before, which I'm sure she has, that they have a segment where they roast each other. They go back and forth. Each team roasts somebody. They call somebody out from the crowd, from the other team. Bring that ass here, boy. And they going to roast you. He going to roast you. But it got to a point where she went at DC first. And DC came back, said something about said something about her getting braces and leaving the wires in, and she got tight. And she kept going back and forth with DC. DC was like, please leave me alone. Please just leave me alone. This ain't what you want. And he was like, I'm just gonna save it for Wild Style. Because he didn't want to keep going at her. But she got tight and she got petty because she felt some type of way and cried off the stage and ended up not doing her show.
Yeah, well, it was a little bit more to that.
Do you think?
He actually said something else before what you just said. So he actually said,
I remember that. Yeah.
Called her, he like saying,
you couldn't get Cardi B, so you got Iggy Azalea ugly ass. Yeah. I remember that.
Right. Yeah, Azalea Banks ugly ass.
Azalea Banks ugly ass. Yeah.
If you watched 85 South, they discussed this situation. I forgot the time, but it wasn't recent. But they did discuss this situation.
Probably back whenever this happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit after this. This was like 2018 or so. So they discussed it, and you listen to DC Young Fly as well as his
Carlos.
Carlos and his other podcast mates. That's just how DC Young Fly talks. He said he called everybody little ugly ass little girl.
He be going at people in the crowd and in the audience. They be calling him ugly ass, ugly ass boy.
Right. And then from there though, she took offense to what he said. From there, like she turned it from just being about her to how can you talk about a beautiful black woman like that? Then like it just, to me, watching that segment, it seemed like she didn't want to be on the show at all. If you didn't want to be on the show, you should have never agreed to do it. Especially knowing that it's a roasting session, essentially, whenever they do the specific segments that they do. But then on top of that, you quote unquote are going at everybody in general anyway. So you can dish it out, but you can't take it. And then for this instant right now, like the timing of when she decided to come back at DC Young Fly at this current moment, we know just last week we talked about him losing his partner. And you want to come at him now, your timing, you're totally out of pocket with what you're doing. Totally out of pocket. And I mean, I can understand you feel some type of way and, you want to express your feelings. Completely understandable. But now ain't the time to do that. You give it a little time, let him get back on his feet, feel a little bit better about himself and not be dealing with this situation. Now who's going to take care of his kids? Does he have to come off the road as much as he travels and does his things that he does? Figure out what he's going to do with everything he has circling around him right now. And then that's when you take your shot, and not mentioning his partner at all, like you have done, and saying that she must have low self-esteem to be with DC Young Fly, so on and so forth. I just think her timing is just way bad about that, about things she's going about right now with coming at DC Young Fly.
I mean, and that's true. And to call it retribution and to call it karma is crazy. Like to think that highly of yourself, and you're not even as high up as a celebrity as DC even is,
right?
And to even think that you have that gall about yourself to say this is karma for what he said to you on the show 5 years ago. This happened in 2018. So you wait to come back and say something at this moment when he's lost his best friend in his whole world, is the mother of his children, his significant other, his soulmate, to come back at DC and say that her passing on your birthday in Miami is retribution and karma to DC. That's crazy. And they make it even worse, bro. To make it even worse, I sat back and watched the video of the song that she was supposed to promote on Wildin' Out that night in 2018.
Okay.
And what she was really mad about was a lot of the things she was mad about was him calling out the beauty of young women, young Black women, and saying that Miss Jackie O had low self-esteem for getting her body done and wanting to get her body done, this, that, and the third, right? I'm watching the video of the song. I forget what the name of the song was. Matter of fact, I can probably find it. But she was saying that for her to have low self-esteem to get any kind of work done on her body, clearly, and I'm pretty sure you haven't watched the video, and it's not that important anyway, because she's not important, to keep it 100. This is my opinion. But she clearly has had work done on her body. Clearly has had work done on her body. And it's funny because that was one of the things that she said she's perfectly secure in her own skin. Obviously not, because you've gotten your body done. And you called Miss Jackie O insecure for what she did to her body, just trying to get the mommy makeover. She had 3 kids and she didn't like how her body looked. Cool. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Me and D-Lo talked about this extensively on the show about, women getting, things under their body. Hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. More power to you. If that's what you got to do it. Love yourself. Love yourself. Right. But to call her out and then be a hypocrite and go do it yourself, that's where I have the issue. And then the time, like D-Lo said, the timing of what you said and calling it karma is absurd, bro. Like, you're an idiot for doing this. She's an idiot for doing this. And it pissed me off, bro. It pissed me off whenever I saw it. Like, you can't be serious right now. You cannot be serious right now. And Miss Jackie O was a good woman too, bro. Like, nothing was in the media about her. She was taking care of her kids. She was doing her thing with her lip gloss line. Like, she was a really good woman to DC, and she stood by DC when he was coming from the bottom, living in motel rooms, bro. Like, and she rose with that nigga, and I appreciate Miss Jackie O for that. But for Azealia Banks to say this, bro, it's annoying. It pissed me off, bro. It made me mad.
Yeah. I mean, I think I say it again, what I said earlier, I think it shows how truly insecure she is with herself, because, she is constantly before now she's constantly been on the internet joking about something, talking about somebody. I feel like this is how she keeps herself relevant. Her music, I have never heard her music, but from, like DC says,
don't worry about it.
It's for whoever it's for is good to them, right? So it's obviously is affecting somebody, is somebody's listening to it. But I feel like this is how she keeps herself relevant, and maybe with her pettiness online, it garners her more attention and draws more ears to her music. But this right here is just unfathomable, because you just, why go at this man now? Why mention the deceased in your going at him now? Like, just let it go. It just shows that she has no morals, she has no ethics, and will do anything to get back at somebody that she feels has done her wrong.
100%, man. And to feel like she won and to call it, man, it's just stupid. But what I don't want to do on this platform is what we're doing right now is what we talked about the other day. We're giving them a platform and we're giving them attention. So let's not give Azealia Banks no more attention. Let's go and talk about our boy Zion. Well, let's go talk about our boy Zion, man. That boy
is a mess right now, ain't he?
Man, what he the being a mess is an understatement. Man. That's an understatement because he been in something. He been in something. So let's talk. What's going on with Zion, bro? So let's talk about Zion, man.
Yeah, so apparently Zion Williamson announced on Instagram a couple days ago or earlier this week, along with the mother of the suspected mother of his child, that they are in fact having a baby. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that Zion has been possibly in another relationship with another woman who is an adult star. And she is going crazy on Twitter and Instagram right now, talking about how bad she feels for letting him. I don't even know.
Do a lot of things. Do a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't even know the exact term to use, but she feels bad because she started to catch feelings for him, and she feels betrayed, and and a third woman came out as well, saying that Zion promised her a car, a very expensive watch. So I mean, Zion, he's just in a lot of. Hold on,
D-Lo.
You didn't see that? Yeah.
The only ones that I knew about was old girl Kima, who is the suspected baby mother, right, and Mariah Mills, who is the adult star. Those are the only two I know. You mean to tell me? Hold on, let me turn this. You mean to tell me there's a third woman?
It's another one.
Hold on, let me ask you this question: is this woman also an adult star?
Now, see, this I didn't do any digging into that. I just saw that
because if she is
last night or Thursday, and
if she is D-Lo, we know
though. Actually, you know what? I don't think she is, because in her statement she says, "I guess because I didn't give you a threesome or allowed you to film me, you didn't want. I was just a play. I was just to be played with, or something like that.
Play to. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay, because I didn't hear about the third chick.
No. Yeah.
Good Lord. So Zion out here showing his royal oats. That's what he doing.
He out here simping.
The royal penis is clean. That's what we say.
Hey, listen.
That's what we got going on with Zion. Because I mean, like, so I you know what I think is happening with our young superstars, bro. With our young, I can't even call him a superstar because I don't think him, and I'm a reference John Morant here too. I don't think they're superstars. I think they're stars in the league. But Zion doesn't even have enough time.
Superstars, 100%.
Budding 100%. Yeah. But you know what I think is happening with our young stars, bro? Is I think that they're doing things in their superstardom that they weren't able to do whenever they were in high school or whatever, in college and stuff. They're exploring things like that, because if this is how Zion is getting it right now, bro, to have to go to, you just John. Did you see? There was a post on Instagram where they should do where they say ESPN should do a 30 for 30 called Guns and Buns. Did you see? Did you see that?
The internet undefeated, man.
Undefeated. And that's where I'm getting my point from, is that I honestly think that these dudes have the money and the resources to do things that they weren't able to do before. And I understand it, because if I had the money and resources to do things that I wasn't able to do, like right now, like travel more often, or, buy things that I wasn't able to buy as a kid or right now and things like that, I would probably indulge in some things as well. But the things that they're indulging in is really damaging their reputation and damaging their career. I would never do nothing like that, is what I'm saying. So I think that with all of these things coming out about these guys, their mindsets are off, where they have no idea what they're doing to themselves. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
It's a problem, but and obviously us being older than them, having a little bit more experience than them, we can try to talk about this situation with some intelligence, try to impose our wisdom and our experiences on these situations. But I mean, what you said is, I agree with 100%. They're doing things that they could not do when they were younger, but also they're living out what they've been fed their entire life.
I can agree with
Presumably,
I can agree with that.
everything that they consume for the most part on Instagram or on social media, and they see on TV, or that they hear and I don't want to put rap culture in here or hip hop culture in it, but it is what it is.
It is
What
what
they
it
hear
is.
in hip hop culture has been what? Money, sex, and drugs, right? They have the money. We assume they could get whatever woman they want. Just so happens that
Look at Bill Murray.
Zion, you know what I mean? It just so happens that Zion is, which the strippers and the adult entertainers, and Ja is with the guns. I mean, but what do we expect? How do we expect them to be smarter when this is all they've been fed their whole life, and the people that they idolize are talking about this stuff, but maybe not really living it. But now these dudes have the money; they out here living it.
Yeah, they're living it.
Trying to live it. So I think I think Zion needs to do the same thing that I've said about Ja. He needs to be smarter. He needs to make better decisions. He needs to have these people sign NDAs, and so that if he's out here having a good time, they might be able to say certain things, but they can't say what he's spending on them. Like I said, the third girl said he owes her a Bentley car and some expensive watch that I can't pronounce. You shouldn't be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, the dudes is fun. This ain't the first time. It won't be the last time that we hear about young stars or average dudes. This is common. Average dudes going through stuff like this. It just so happened that Zion has a little bit of money, and he has a particular type of woman that he likes, apparently, and he's tricking off on them. But I mean, what do we expect?
I mean, it comes down to and I'm not saying anything about. I want to preface this by saying that I don't want to say. I'm not saying anything particularly towards Ja and his family, Zion and his family, but just us being older, it comes down to it takes a village to raise a child, right? And right. I think that both of these guys have a lack of guidance and a lack of mentorship. Honestly, now Ja came from a different set of privileges,
circumstances.
Ja was good coming up. You know what I'm saying? And now he's, like we said, he's just living out some of the experiences that he wasn't able to live out whenever he was coming up and going through high school and going to college. And now he's got this bread and he's got these influences around him, like we talked about the last couple of episodes back, that he's got a lot of yes men around him and they just along for the ride, and he living his life, which is cool. Yeah. Zion, same, Zion, if I'm not mistaken, they're both from South Carolina. But I think Zion's situation was a little bit different from Ja's, single mother household, things like that. So it's one of those things where, man, it's like they just need to take a step back and reevaluate what they got going on. Because Ja, even though he out here dumbing out too, Zion is in a different situation because he could possibly have 2 women pregnant. Like,
right.
That to me is more. I think it's more damaging to his career, especially with the type of women that he has these kids by. And not to bash them, they're probably wonderful women. They're just in a different type of environment and industry.
Some would say an unrespectable industry,
right? You know what I'm saying? So not to bash them, they're probably wonderful women, but him having these 2 children, it I think could be more damaging to his career than Ja using his right to bear arms just in a dumb way. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Zion, man, bro, if you hear this, bro, if this somehow gets to your phone on YouTube, take a step back, bro, and reevaluate what you got going on, dog, because you out here wilding. You doing your thing, you enjoying your life, but you wilding, bro. You wilding, cuz.
You wilding. And not only are you wilding, but there have been murmurs that the Pelicans are getting tired of waiting for you to fully contribute to the team, because they feel like you are the missing piece that can get them over the hump and to be the contender that they could have been this year. Like,
right.
They played when you were playing. They were like what, third or fourth in the West. Then you went out, and then they started slipping and slipping and slipping. But we know you're a good player. You've had outstanding numbers when you were in there. Numbers better than some of the greatest players that we've seen play in their
double
early
machine,
years,
bro.
In their early years of playing, like a young Charles Barkley, so to speak.
For sure.
What I mean? But you only played 46% of the games that you could have played in since you've been in the league for 3 years. And then when this comes out that you out here tricking off.
Sowing your oats. You
know what I mean? And you can't lose weight, the weight that you need to lose, but you out here doing this. Come on, bro.
So
you gotta get it together.
Is this the reason?
Hey, it may be. Obviously, he laid up all the time.
No, because
we played the wrong sport, though. Sticks. Honestly, I'm seeing now we played the wrong sport, because this man signs a 5-year, $194 million contract. All of that's guaranteed. He ain't played but 46% of the games,
and still getting that money, bro, and still gonna get that money regardless for the next. Well, he's been in the league 3 years now, so he still got 2 years on that contract where they still owe him almost $40 million.
Not to mention the Nike contract is guaranteed.
Not to mention the Nike contract is guaranteed
as well. So he getting another $15 million a year just to be in the league.
Apparently fuck off. Pun intended. He fucking it off.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to bash this man for the stuff that the average Joe will and can do.
True.
But like we said with Ja, you have to know who you are, what your status is, and if you gonna be out here doing this, definitely get these women to sign NDAs. Beyonce does it. Jay-Z does it, Tom Cruise and company do it, and that's just a party with them. So I can only imagine if they are actually doing some dirt and doing things they ain't supposed to be doing, or things that could damage their reputation, they probably have tons of NDAs out there. So, I mean, and I know a lot of people thinking that may be, frowned upon or it's not the thing to do, but you got to look at yourself as a business or as a brand. You got to protect that brand at all times, because it's your reputation that can get damaged. It's all that money that you can lose that you're giving away to these women, or will be giving away to these women if stuff don't work out, or if two of them pregnant at the same time want nothing to do with you. They're going to ask for the world when they take you to court. They're going to
ask for all of it. I'm telling you. They're
going
to get their half.
You got to protect that brand at all costs.
100%, man, and protecting the brand. I'm glad you said that, because we both, before we started recording, we listened to a video about Ryan Davis, and he was talking about how he has a blueprint of how to do things as far as like getting in the league and being a top draft pick and projected to be the face and the change of that organization and what you should do. Look at Shaq, what he did. That's what Ryan Davis said. Look at Shaq, what he did, and how he got to the league. He was dominant. Married a young lady that wasn't out here in these streets as what these women are perceived to be. And they, had a good marriage. They had the children. He was a model of what a man is supposed to be whenever you have this kind of status. Same thing. If you can even look at, if we find a way to do it every single episode, you can even look at LeBron. We can even look at Bron. He married his high school sweetheart. They've been rocking ever since, and he's never been in the media for anything bad. So you have a blueprint of how to be a superstar in the league.
Is questionable to me, though. But
very, very true, and I understand why you say that. Very, very true. But even if you think Shaq is questionable, look at Bron.
Yeah, Bron for sure, but that's not everybody's. We know that's not everybody's life.
100%.
Everybody, and I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll say it again, and it's not a shot at Bron, but these are perceptions of Bron too. He very well have NDAs out there as well.
Could possibly. True.
That we don't know, and doing some, and I probably shouldn't have said that, but
I was about to say we don't need to give the Jordan get off my lawn guys any more ammunition that they already
I'm just drawing a parallel.
Facts.
These examples, like these are people that we don't truly know what they do in their personal time. These are perceptions, right? And all I'm gonna say is, the brand is protected when it comes to LeBron. Whatever you feel about him on the court, off the court, that brand is locked up tight. You can't really say much about him. So if he is doing things, we don't know about it. Zion needs to treat it the same way. If you are out there doing stuff, Zion, exactly what you have been doing, you're not protecting the brand. You got to protect the brand at all costs.
100%, bro. I'm with you on that, G. With you on that, bro.
All right, man. The NFL. The NFL. We're starting to see more and more players get suspended for gambling in the NFL. Do you think the NFL has a gambling problem, Sticks?
I don't think the organization itself has a gambling problem. I think the players within the organization have the problem. And if that's the case, since the players are in the organization, then the organization has a problem. Mm-hmm. But it starts at the core, because there's been the first one that I heard about that was real big news was Calvin Ridley, of course. But there's been, in this past month, there's been 6 other guys that have been suspended.
Last couple of months, yep, for sure.
Yeah, that have been suspended from the NFL for exorbitant amount of time for gambling on their own teams. The teams that they play for. And it's like, bro, like, now, me personally, I'm not a gambling man myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't gamble. I don't go to, I'm out here in Washington where there is a casino literally at almost every exit on the highway. And you can find a casino everywhere, bro. They're everywhere. And I've stepped foot in one casino, and I didn't even gamble. And when I go to Vegas, I've been to Vegas 4 or 5 times in my life. I don't gamble. I just go out for the sights. So I don't understand, but let me rephrase that. I do understand the addiction to that rush whenever you gamble and you win. I do understand that. But to gamble on something that's so close to me, like my craft and my organization and the team that I play for, and I'm gambling on the team that I'm associated with, that I can't get with. Like I can't understand why they would do that whenever they know that they have. It's such a you have too much to do with it. Like you have too much. You have such a strong pull on the outcome of that game that you're playing in for this team that you would ever bet on your own team. So I can't understand it. What you think, D-Lo?
So I feel how you feel, that it's not an issue. It's not a problem for the NFL. However, in my opinion, I do think it needs to be addressed, and addressed how it has been addressed. And the reason I feel like it needs to be addressed is because if it becomes widespread, then the integrity of football will then come into question. And I should say the integrity of the games of football will come into question, because now you can't really say that the essence of sports is being played. You're saying money is determining the outcome of the game, rather 100%. Than purely somebody's athletic or a group of individuals' athletic ability being determining the outcome of a game. I'll give you, and if that happens, then the whole league will be tarnished. The NFL will now be, no pun intended, and it will be the XFL essentially. And what I mean by that is it won't be the NFL that we know, the almighty powerful shield, which is the NFL. And I'll give you an example of one small player, or maybe I can give you a couple of them. One small player tarnishing a small period of time. Tim Donaghy, who was refereeing in NBA, and he currently has a special or documentary on Netflix talking about that time where he had his gambling issues. Well, once this was reported that he was involved in the gambling scandals within NBA and the games that he was calling, all of those games in that time have come into question. And people, I mean, we already don't trust referees in the first place. We always already question the calls that they make, why they made the calls, and so on and so forth. If they're really, being true and showing good faith to the game, we already call that in question. But after this happens, people really don't trust NBA refs and think that they have a play on top of what have we been talking about the last couple of weeks, on top of the script that comes to play with sports
and the conspiracy theories and that everybody has and stuff. Yep.
Right. So, I mean, you bring these into question now, and if it becomes widespread, then nobody's going to watch NFL no more, because they're not going to trust. It will truly become the WWE. And the only reason people watch the WWE, because you might not know the outcome of what's going to happen, but it is like some type of entertainment. But I don't, that type of entertainment won't be able to, because it's too many moving pieces in football and other sports. Yeah. Whereas wrestling is either 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or, you might have.
You got the Royal Rumble or whatever. Yeah. Rumble, a lot going on.
Individually, more than likely, it's at an individual level. But nobody's going to watch that if they feel like somebody is blatantly throwing a game, because nobody's going to watch that.
That's very true. And I'm glad you made that parallel to wrestling, because everybody knows it is scripted. Everybody knows it's scripted. As far as like basketball and NBA and NFL, there is a perceived script, and people have said that there's a conspiracy that there is a script to how the season is supposed to end or how a game is supposed to conclude and stuff like that. People say that there is one, but you don't know for sure, or you can't say that there is one for sure, because like you said, there's too many moving parts. People know that it's scripted, but for us to add the conspiracy of the script along with players actually gambling on their teams, that just like D'Lo said, it's going to be a lot harder for the general public to watch it, knowing that there might be a script and these players are betting on their teams where they have a say on the outcome of this game. So there's the integrity of the game is lost. The integrity of the game is lost. So you have guys out here who are going against their character to make money. And these are guys like Calvin Ridley himself, who had pretty good contracts. He's not hurting for money. So why are you gambling on these teams? Or why are you gambling on the Falcons whenever you don't need the bread? Like, what's good with you? Like, why do you? I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't get the kind of money that Calvin Ridley was getting. So I haven't seen that type of, and I don't have that problem either. I don't have that addiction as far as like, I don't think I have too much of it. Well, I do, but we're not gonna talk about that. But
we all have vices.
We all have our vices. Right? We all have our vices, but I don't have a gambling addiction. So I can't sit here and say that if I had that type of money that I didn't know what to do with, that I wouldn't try to figure out what to do with it. But I think I would invest. I think I would give back to my community. I think I would do a lot of different things than gamble it, especially gambling on my own team. Now, sports betting is legal in 29 states now? 30 states, 29
states? It's actually 33.
33 states. There you go.
33, yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad you are headed in the direction that I was going to head. Before I say that, it's not always about the money, because I know that anytime we discuss downfalls of individuals in the sports and entertainment genre, we always go back to the money. It's not always about the money, but the money plays a big part in some of the decisions that should be made when it comes to the decisions that have been made. But yeah, sports gambling is, back to the sports gambling. Sports gambling has been legalized in 33 states, and I believe 2 or 3 are going to legalize it this year. So as we know,
North Carolina being one of them, right?
I believe North Carolina is on the ballot to legalize sports gambling this year. So we know that sports gambling is big business.
It is.
And the reason why I say that it needs to be addressed and how it is being addressed currently is because with all of these states legalizing sports gambling, with all of these different sports betting platforms becoming viable and, bigger and bigger and bigger, I 100% believe that players will be approached to try to determine the outcomes of games, because we know sports gambling or individuals in sports gambling was a big issue prior to it being handled and addressed how it was. The examples I'll give you are the 1919 Chicago White Sox, known as the Black Sox Scandal. These fools threw the World Series against the Cincinnati Cardinals for money. Through a whole World Series, because they were guaranteed to be paid a certain amount of money if they allowed the Cincinnati Reds to win the championship. Sticking with the Cincinnati Reds and baseball, Pete Rose was banned from baseball for a lifetime because he was betting, as Stick said, on baseball, but also his own team. So, and I truly believe that because of the way these situations were handled is why it didn't be even more widespread as it has been. And I'm not saying that it doesn't take place currently, because I'm sure to some degree in some small crevice or some small little percentage of the whatever leagues we're talking about, that individuals take bribes to a small degree on their teams, but it's not as big as it potentially could be. And contracts help that. The amount of money that these athletes are making help that as well. So it's not easy to bribe them. But you catch one of these individuals, one of these rookies on a contract that's,
undrafted free agent,
right, starting to get more and more playing time, then you might have something. So, I mean, I'm glad that you hate to see people lose opportunities. Some of the individuals that were suspended earlier this year for sports gambling, you hate to see them lose opportunities, because once it was passed down that they would be suspended for whatever time, the teams release them. So you hate to see them lose opportunities, but I'm glad that the NFL in particular is addressing this how they are, because now it's sending a message, a strong message, albeit that we're not going to tolerate this.
Exactly. And just to reiterate the point real quick about the sports betting, it's legal now, as D-Lo said, in 33 states. And you can sports bet. You can sports bet through some states allow you can do it through an app like MGM Grand and those things like that. In the state of Washington, though, you can't do it online, but you have to go into a physical casino or somewhere that does sports betting to do your gambling on sports. Now, me, for instance, if I was playing for the Seahawks and I was interested in doing sports betting and I had an addiction to gambling or something like that, never would I ever think to bet on the Seahawks, though. Like, if I'm sitting in there and I'm watching the games, and you can bet on parlays, you can bet on what the score after the first quarter would be. You can bet on a lot of different things. There's a lot of different sequences that you can bet on. I would not be sitting in there saying, okay, on Sunday, I'm gonna make sure that we playing the Browns. We definitely gonna win that game, so I'm gonna put my money on that for us to win. But then we going against the Chiefs. I think we might lose that one, so I think I'm gonna bet on us to lose. Never am I gonna do that. Never am I gonna do that. If I'm playing for the Seahawks, I'm not betting on us at all. Period. Right. Now, I can bet on other games and bet on parlays and do that because it's legal. But at the same time, like, why would I ever think to bet on my own team? I would never do that. That's just my thought process. But I mean, people have different addictions. People have different thought processes with what they do. You know, how they handle their gambling. So you do you, boo boo. Do your thing.
Man said boo boo. Wow. and honestly, it's a great lead into this next topic.
It is a great lead into this next topic. So, out here, actually in Washington, there is a all women's nude spa that is going through a small scandal that situations. Let's say situation. True. They're going through a situation where people are saying that they should allow transgendered women to also attend this nude spa. So I'm gonna start out by saying this. I am very much a free thinker. Whatever you feel, whatever you love, however you love, whatever your personality is, whatever your sexuality is, I am all for it. I don't have an issue with anyone in the LGBT community. I feel like however you are, be who you are. I don't have any issue with anything. I just want to start out by saying that. What I'm also going to say is I don't know how to feel about this situation because, again, I personally don't care. Honestly, you're not bothering me. You're not bothering me and my sexuality. You're not hindering anything in my thought process. So you do you, boo boo. Just keep it there. Do you, boo boo?
Intertwine
that, right? But how am I gonna say this? The situation that's going on with this spa, though, is a complex situation because I've honestly asked a couple of different people, and they were on both sides of the spectrum. One person said that they wouldn't have an issue with it. Another person said that they would. I can honestly see both sides of that because, just to give an example, right? Say, for instance, my future significant other, right? For her birthday, she wanted to experience this nude spa. And I said, okay, babe, I'll make sure that I get you the deluxe packet so that way you can be free and you can get all the amenities that this spa offers, right? And she's gone for 2-3 hours throughout the day, and she comes back and she says, well, babe, there was a situation that happened where there was a individual that was also taking part in these in this new spa, but also had a penis. So my initial thought would be, what the fuck? Like, I thought this was supposed to be all women, but I can also look back at it and say that person most likely identifies as a woman or does identify as a woman, and they have full reign to take advantage of whatever amenities that they want to take advantage of as well. That's what inclusiveness is, right? They want to feel, they want that inclusiveness to be able to, if they identify as a woman, they should be able to do the things that women do. Where the one thing that it bothers me is with our children. That's where it gets to a point where it bothers me a little bit, because our children are
impressionable.
That's the word I was going to use, but I was trying to make sure that was the right word to use. Our children are very impressionable, and there are certain things that we as parents of these children should express and not the public to express. That's just the way I feel about it. Now, and there was a situation recently, and of course we know this is Pride Month, and again, we love all y'all. We don't have any issue with y'all. Happy Pride Month to all of y'all. Be free in your month and do your thing. We're not bashing anybody. I promise you we're not. We love all y'all. Yeah. It's just certain things within
we have
this.
No issues with that at all.
There's just certain things within this inclusivity that there should be some things that are very exclusive, if that makes sense to anyone. D-Lo, what you think, bro?
So let me start by saying, I think I understand why this is a fight in the first place. Not that I necessarily agree with everything. And like you said, Sticks, I don't have any issues with any of the LGBTQ community. You're not bothering me, not bothering my sexuality. I'm good. But I think I understand why this is a fight, because if this particular community who has shown that they will go through whatever they need to go through in order to make sure that their rights are protected, so they have shown some power. If we allow this particular community to be discriminated against, then it creates loopholes and also gray area for other more established communities that have been discriminated in the past to be discriminated against. And so I think that is why, at least I'm hoping, that's why some of these fights within the transgender community or with the transgender community are going on, is because if this community is allowed to be discriminated against, then it opens up other areas for other groups to be discriminated against. Now, with that being said, let's go back to what you said.
Mm-hmm.
It is very hard to be a parent right now. Mm-hmm. Because you have these things are being put and pushed on us on an ongoing basis. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to give clear-cut answers as to why certain people decide to do certain things. Mm-hmm. Now, you want to show and you want to model that, people think differently than you. You can understand and talk with people that think different than you. You can also understand that people may come from different experiences than you have. You also want to make sure that you demonstrate understanding of people that just may be different from you in general. But it's very hard to be a parent because kids, like we mentioned, are impressionable. And because they are impressionable, they're going to ask questions. Mm-hmm. And if anybody has had kids that are, 2 to 5, they're going to ask questions, and they're going to ask questions at the most unfortunate of times. Mm-hmm. And so that can cause a lot of tension. The kids aspect is the part for me that's the most challenging part. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, it's hard to explain to them why somebody is the way that they are. Mm-hmm. Now, with all of that being said, I think there are places there should be some exclusivity instead of the inclusivity. You mentioned, or we're talking about currently, the locker room incident or the Nude Spa there in Washington. Mm-hmm. But there's also been an incident, I can't remember the year, but there's also been an incident where at a high school, you had a transgender woman go into the locker room. She was 18, go into the locker room with girls, and she hasn't fully transitioned yet. So you have 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, 12th graders, all that range of girls being exposed to male genitalia. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's some girls may have already been exposed to that, but the majority of them have not. So now you have girls seeing something that they have never seen before. They may not understand what is going on. Mm-hmm. And then they come home and ask you all of these questions. Mm-hmm. So it's just this is one area where I find myself scratching my head a lot when having this conversation about transgender. Now, I am not confused about what is a man and what is a woman, though. I'm pretty firm on that. Right. But I do try to understand people's different views on things, and and explaining it to my daughter, to my son when he gets older. If I have to explain to him, I probably will be firm in my belief in that, but in giving them more views on that, I don't know how I'm going to explain it.
Right. I mean, and just to get back to the community itself, for someone, this is not something that just happens to happen. These individuals have to be strong individuals to come out and say, as a man that I'm attracted to men, as a woman I am attracted to women, as a man I feel in myself that I am a woman, and vice versa. They have to be strong individuals and confident individuals to do things like this. And I honestly commend y'all for that, because it takes a lot to be different. It takes a whole lot to be different. And that's exactly what it is. But just to reiterate on what D'Lo said, I have a 16-year-old young lady. I have a 16-year-old daughter, and I've already had to have multiple conversations with her about these things, and it's a hard conversation to have. And whenever you, just like D'Lo said, I'm very firm in my stance in knowing what a man and a woman is, and just having to explain, sexuality and why these things exist, and who these people identify as. It's a hard conversation to have, and I know over time, with us having this platform and us having a podcast, that we'll eventually have to do a little bit more research on things, and we're probably not the most adept to talk about something like this. We just kind of giving our opinion, but at the same time, it's so prevalent in society that it's a conversation that needs to be had. But
I think that's a misconception too, though, which is why it's such a hard conversation to have.
Right.
Is you said that it is so prevalent. It's prevalent because in everything that we consume, essentially, is put there. But in the grand scheme of things, and I'm not trying to minimize the community in any way, but in the grand scheme of things, they only make up 1% to 3% of the entire global population. So
okay, I got you.
It's prevalent, but in the grand scheme of things, it is not.
I got. They're not the majority. I get it, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to them, or not. Right. They're a vast minority. I get that, right. but I mean, I guess
the prevalence comes from it just being there in everything we consume.
Agreed.
Internet, television,
social media, movies,
all that. Right.
Yeah,
that's where the prevalence comes from.
Right, and of course, who is the most? Who is the people that are consuming this information the most, which is our children, right? So that's where it becomes hard for me in the inclusivity conversation, is having my daughter see these things in cartoons, in movies, on YouTube, in sitcoms and things like that, to where she's like, okay, that's different. Dad, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Not to say, no, what is it in a bad term, but she just to her see like, okay, what does that mean? Like, how can you explain that to me? And I'm like, honestly, baby, no, I can't. I can't really. Right. I can try to explain it, but I don't want to explain it in the wrong way. So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'm gonna have to figure it out and get back to you on that. So just to kind of wrap it up a little bit. Again, we have no issue with anybody in that community. Anybody in the LGBTQ community, don't come at us like that. Please don't, because we're not here to throw any salt on you guys' inclusivity and things. We're not. It's just certain avenues and certain things that is hard to talk about and we don't understand. We try our best to understand what you guys are going through and the fight that you guys are having, to be able to express it to our little ones, to be able to give them a little bit more of an insight and kind of let them take free reign on how they want to live their life. Because I don't care which direction my daughter goes, I'm gonna love her regardless, because I love her and I love people in general. I don't have any issues. But at the same time, it's a lot that happens that when I get the questions, I'm not sure exactly which direction to go. And just like I said at the beginning of this segment, with the Nude Spa situation, I'm not sure how to feel about it, because I love y'all. I don't have no issue with y'all. But there are certain arenas that should be exclusive. So just like I feel like that should be exclusive, just like I feel like the sports arena should be exclusive. So, and I'm not going to get into that, but there's a lot of gray area and a lot of complexity within this conversation that we need to do a little bit more research and kind of understand, and maybe even talk to somebody and have somebody come in and we have a conversation and kind of give us more information on how you feel and what your personality is, and why the fight is like it is, because I want to know and I want to understand, and just to kind of get that information for myself, for real.
Yeah. I'll wrap it up with, I think the uncertainty or the us not knowing how to talk about it comes from now all of what we grew up knowing comes into question. What we grow up knowing, and again, I'm pretty firm on what a male and what a female is. Pretty firm on that stance, and not to get too deep into it, but that comes into question. It's like, okay, it's always been this. What? And I guess I shouldn't have said that it's always been this, because if you can't accept change, just because something's always been how it is doesn't mean that it can't change. But that is pretty cut and dry, in my opinion. So it's just that aspect of it is why it is a tough conversation to have with our children, because again, you want to be respectable to each individual on this planet and their thought process and how they feel. But, how do you explain it to them if you don't fully understand it? So
100%, man. And like I said, we love everybody. We don't have an issue with anyone. We don't want any problems. We won't want no smoke. Promise we won't want no smoke. I promise we won't want no smoke.
We can take it if it comes, but we
can't take it if it comes. We're not scared of the smoke. We just don't want the smoke. We don't want the smoke. It is definitely a hard conversation to have. And, hopefully we didn't piss nobody off, because we definitely want to understand. It's just certain things that we don't understand, and it's hard to agree with, especially when it comes to the children. So we're just gonna leave it at that.
100%.
100.
All right, Sticks, episode 29. 29, right? It's 29.
Episode 29.
Episode 29 in the books. This has been too complex. We hope that you enjoyed today's show, and that you feel the need to get involved in any of the conversations that we had, any of the segments that we talked about. You can find us on all of your major streaming podcast services. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Leave us a rating as well. You can also find us on all your social media platforms at Too Complex Pod. So that's Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And remember, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. With that being said, we appreciate y'all's support. We'll catch y'all next time. Salute.